In any of your social media feeds this weekend, and you'll likely see this: viral videos of people packed into pools and bars at the Lake of the Ozarks for the weekend. Clearly not 6 feet of distance between many of those folks. And now the actions of these partiers and the places that hosted them is drawing national attention and harsh words from local leaders.
It was packed.
Scott Passmore, an anchor at the CBS affiliate in Phoenix, says he was amazed at this site at a Lake of the Ozarks hotspot.
Just blown away by how crowded it was. I mean, it looked like a typical Memorial Day weekend, but you would have never known there were any coronavirus fears anywhere.
Backwater Jack's Bar in Osage Beach hosted a party they've been advertising for weeks, the Zero Ducks Given Pool Party. Their blog saying they'd be taking precautions, including operating at reduced capacity to allow for social distancing. These videos apparent evidence that wasn't happening.
Just how densely packed would you say it was?
Like a pool that holds 100 people had 200 people in it. That's how crowded it was.
Passmore says he kept his distance.
I didn't want to go jump in the pool, I'll tell you that. I wouldn't have jumped in that pool if there was no coronavirus around.
Though others clearly did not.
It was mostly young people, I'll say that. And it looked like they were just there to live their life and have a party, and they couldn't care less about it.
The reaction to these videos and others posted from bars on the lake was swift. Millions of views and hundreds of comments, mostly of concern. Pathetic, wrote one person on Facebook. Thanks for undoing weeks of quarantine.
The folks have made a conscientious decision to come here. Our businesses are open.
Osage Beach Mayor John Oliveri says he has not seen the videos, but says Missouri's stay-at-home orders were lifted weeks ago. And while he says he wants people to be safe,
the reality is this: the obligation, from my perspective, is for the individual themselves. In other words, if they come to the Lake of the Ozarks, or if they stay in St. Louis, if they go someplace where they don't feel comfortable, then I applaud them for making the decision not to go in or go somewhere else.
Some local leaders reacting to this, though. St. Louis Mayor Lyda Krewson had some very strong words to say about those viral videos, saying it's irresponsible and dangerous to engage in such high-risk behavior, saying now these folks will be going home to St. Louis and counties across Missouri, raising concerns about potential for more hospitalizations and tragically deaths. She says the actions are deeply disturbing.
Social distancing went out the window this weekend at a Memorial Day party at the Lake of the Ozarks. Partygoers captured this crowded scene on their cell phones, and now those posts are going viral. In a story you will only see here on 41 Action News, reporter Andres Gutierrez spoke to one of those people and the owner of where that video was shot.
It's the video now seen by millions on social media of a pool party at the Lake of the Ozarks this Memorial Day weekend. The gathering happening at Backwater Jackson Osage Beach. On their Facebook page, the bar calls it the Zero Ducks Given Pool Party.
I walked up and my jaw dropped and I was like, oh my gosh.
Jody Akins from Blue Springs attended the party.
They checked everyone's temperature around us. I saw them, every single person that walked through in front of me, they checked our temperature, and then right when we got in the door, there were, to the right of us, there was a big tub of a bunch of hand sanitizers.
But it's the lack of social distancing in the video that's drawing criticism.
If you're worried about getting sick, obviously, or you want to distance yourself, it's pretty much to each their own. You just kind of have to do what you feel is right.
The bar owner, Gary Pruitt, told 41 Action News on Sunday he couldn't speak because he was super busy with people. We did sit down with him last week.
How many people do you anticipate will be here?
We'll have about 1,000 people at this establishment, and that's with social distancing. If we weren't social distancing and people being here, we'd be rotating 1,000 at all times.
Pruitt added with a crowd that large, practicing social distancing would be a challenge.
We expect them to do that on their own. We won't let large groups gather over 10, at least try not to, and speak to them to spread out a little bit more.
With the weekend marking the unofficial start to summer, Pruitt appreciates Governor Mike Parson opening up the state in time for the holiday.
If we would miss a month, I look at it, we'd be missing 3 months of revenue.
The town's mayor feels the same way.
Do I feel bad
that our businesses have opened up and given our employees the opportunity to go back and to work and feed their families? Absolutely not.
Still, with more than 12,200 positive coronavirus cases in Missouri and the amount trending upward, it's images like this that public health experts discourage. Andres Gutierrez, 41 Action News.
Now, as a reminder, Missouri has no statewide limitation on gatherings, but social distancing guidelines should be followed and masks are still encouraged. Gatherings of more than 15 people are prohibited in the state of Kansas until that state transitions into its next phase.
United States now, where some residents have spent the Memorial Day long weekend partying and flouting COVID-19 measures despite that country's spiralling death toll. Our North America correspondent David Lipson joins us from Washington. David, good morning. I saw these images from the Ozarks last night and I was almost, I was taken aback by just how tightly packed these people were.
Yeah, pretty extraordinary images. A thumping party at the Lake of the Ozarks in the state of Missouri with hundreds of people, as you say, flouting those social distancing restrictions, and all at a time when the number of deaths here in the United States as a result of coronavirus is about to punch through the 100,000 mark. It certainly has, though, by and large, been a Memorial Day long weekend like no other. Yes, there have been some terrible examples like the one you've just seen on your screens of flouting of the rules and recommendations, but by and large, there are far fewer people out and about in the United States this weekend. There have been some packed beaches and the like, but Americans are still by and large worried about contracting the virus.
Now, the US presidential campaign continues as well, of course, David, and the the putative Democratic nominee, Joe Biden, has released another attack ad.
Yeah, and handed to him on a platter, you'd have to say, because yesterday the President, Donald Trump, was back on his golf course in Virginia. So all the Democratic campaign had to do was splice some of those images of Donald Trump on the fairways up against that rising death toll and images of ambulances and hospitals and the like. Donald Trump does not seem to be worried whatsoever. He's back on the golf course again today. His whole focus is about reopening America and getting the economy moving again. And it's not too hard to see why. Even his own senior economic advisors today are saying that amazing figure of 15% unemployment last month was actually an undercount, and that they expect the number of unemployed, or the figure for the unemployed here in the US, to rise above 20% next month and then rise again the month after that. So although it may seem like folly for the president to be pushing hard for people to be getting out and about and back to work, it's not the most unpopular strategy, certainly in some sectors of the community here in the US that are really hurting, and not just poorer Americans, middle-class Americans as well, who are lining up to get food from charities and the like.
Really distressing scenes over there. David Lipson in Washington, thank you so much.
I want to again remind Missourians to be safe, to be smart, and to be responsible. We want everyone to enjoy the holiday, but we cannot let our guard down. As you get outside and spend time with family and friends this weekend, please remember to be cautious, and social distance should be a priority. Holiday or no holiday, this is still the most important step we can take to keep Missouri on track.